So we've analyzed and reviewed all the customer data, all the customer research, all the hot alerts, all the customer surveys, and the data shows that there's a gap between what the customer expects and what we're actually doing when we deliver a vehicle. With that insight, what should we do? Well, when we continue to fail our customers and not exceed their expectations, not even do what they expect, it's time to take a look at our processes. So what we do is we use a very simple approach. There are 4 primary steps in process mapping. First, we map the current process. Next, we analyze the process for gaps between what the existing process is and customer expectations. Third, we revamp the process to address customer expectations. We want our new process to include what the customer expects of us. And fourth, we implement and measure the effectiveness of the new process. So since we're talking about establishing processes, we're only going to focus on the first step, and that's mapping the current process. The other 3 steps are really used for what we call process redesign. And process redesign is when we have an existing process that just isn't working and just needs improvement. So let's take a look at what it takes to deliver a perfect vehicle. Together as a group, here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a step-by-step process for getting the car from the car carrier and into a customer's driveway. So using the Post-its I provided, I want each of you to write down step by step the process. And we're going to post those steps on our flip chart to see just how each of our process steps flows. So let's get started. So, here's the first question. When does the delivery process start? Okay, that's true. The first step is when the car carrier arrives. What happens next? Okay, vehicles are uploaded and inspected. Who inspects them? That's our third step in our process. The PDI manager, he inspects the delivered vehicles. Then what happens? Vehicles are then parked on the lot. Okay, and then who parks those vehicles? The lot porter parks the vehicles. And then what happens? Okay, the vehicles just remain on the lot. I'm with you. All right, and are those vehicles on the lot, are they perfect? Well, the vehicles they're in off the assembly line condition. Okay, that's true. And then, does anybody ever touch those vehicles? That's the 8th thing in our process flow. Yes, the security guard checks each vehicle nightly to ensure that they're locked. Okay, so let's continue. Who drives the vehicle to make ready? Okay, the 9th step in our process flow, the porter drives the vehicle to make ready. And then who cleans the vehicle for delivery? Okay, I'm writing that down in our flow chart. Our detail crew cleans the vehicle for delivery. Okay, and then who inspects the vehicle when they are driven to the delivery area? Okay, our sales consultants inspect the vehicles when they're brought to the delivery area. And then who is in charge of washing and ensuring those vehicles are properly delivered? The make-ready manager ensures that the vehicles are properly detailed and delivered so that the salesperson is properly inspecting them at the delivery area. Okay? And then that's a good job. So what happens, what's the final step in this before the customer actually takes delivery of the vehicle? Okay. The sales consultant conducts the final quality inspection before delivery. That's a very good process. You guys did a great job. So what you've just done is map the process of delivering a perfect vehicle. Now, is there anything else we can do to add to exceed the customer's expectations in our process? Okay, that's a good idea. So, yeah, because the security guard is checking the vehicles each night, it's good to ensure that the lot porter basically wipes down the door handles so that when customers are test driving or a vehicle is going to be delivered, those vehicles are nice and clean. Any other ideas to exceed the customer's expectations? That's another good idea. Okay, so we want to make sure that the lot porter is ensuring that the vehicles start and are properly fueled. And one more idea you've got? Okay, so that's a great idea to exceed the customer's expectations. We want to put a car-sized, shiny delivery bow on top of each vehicle prior to delivery. I think that's a great idea. That would definitely wow the customers. So now I want you guys to try this again. So here we go. The customer research shows us another gap. There's another misalignment that the data shows. The data is showing that there is no process for the sales to service handoff, the sales to service introduction in the dealership. So how do we process map the sales to service introduction? Well, instead of working as a group, what we're going to do is divide into table teams. So this time in your table teams, what I want you to do is in your map that we've mapped here, I want you to inject step by step what your process will be to ensure the customer comes back for service. Service retention is top of mind and a tremendous priority for the dealership. So we want to make sure that we have a sales to service introduction in our process. So I want you guys to choose somebody at your tables to flip chart the process. I've got some markers here, and I want you guys to choose someone to report out to the group when you're finished. So we're going to take about 15 minutes to complete this process. All right, you've got 15 minutes to complete your maps. Let's get started. Well, you guys did great. You're good at this. You've got it. So now that you know how to define and map processes, how can mapping processes help with customer experience standards? How can they help? And I'll put down a couple of your ideas. How can it help? And I'm just removing these Post-its very quickly. Okay, that's a great idea. Okay, so it can help, mapping processes can help standardize what we do with our customers. And what else? That's a great idea. It can help improve CSI. That's what it's all about. Exceeding customers' expectations, improving CSI. When we do that, we always improve sales and profitability. And then, what challenges do you think you'll face with process mapping. That is a challenge. That's true. When we have employee turnover, it does and it will impact, it can impact our processes, and it could result again in gaps arising again. So those definitely are things that can help and things that can become a challenge as we map processes in the dealership. Okay, so now here's my last question before we're done for the day. You did good work. And this pretty much concludes our session for today. But what we're going to do is I'm going to leave you with this last question. What if there is already a process in place? So tomorrow we're going to kind of discuss if there's already a process in place. We're going to explore process mapping for what we call a redesign. That's mapping for processes that are already in place, but those processes are just not being followed or just simply not working. So that's going to be our work for tomorrow. We're going to address a couple of those processes. And until then, you guys have a great afternoon. And again, thank you guys and see you tomorrow.